Hey, what's up, guys? Bucky here. Just wanted to check in, have a bit of a chat about finding your voice and having the courage to be you. And it's almost every day for me. It's almost every day that something shows up, that something speaks to me, that I have an opportunity to answer that intuition. And I know that's true for a lot of us. And one of the things that I talk about often is getting connected to who you are and being grounded in who you are, to the point where you can hear that voice daily. And for me, it just happens to be really strong. And I think the challenge that I've had my entire life is that I've spent a lot of that time in my life as a young person, as a teen, and even as a young adult, fighting that voice. And there's even moments today, like when I hear that voice and I don't know what to do with it. It's like, how do I act upon that, and how I really step up and to be who I am? And it's amazing what happens when you do that. It's amazing what happens when you do that, because what starts to happen is that your voice starts to come out. And there's things that you can't imagine that starts to unfold that you could never have envisioned or planned for. And you don't always need to know exactly what to do. You don't always need to know where that's going to lead. You don't always have to have a plan. Sometimes it's just important to act. And I'm over here in Bermuda, getting ready for a program. I'm just enjoying myself before I get into some work this afternoon. And I think in the beginning, finding your voice is really about getting grounded in who you are. It's about stepping into and embracing who you are and looking ways to get closer to who you are. So when we talk about a morning practice, whether that's time out in nature or time in meditation or time journaling or time with friends, family is one of those things that's really important, that grounds a lot of people. Getting connected, reaching out more often than you normally would. I think there's so many of us that live in these lives that are just disconnected. We do what we think we need to do, and we're going through the routines and the day-to-days, and we're taking care of stuff, but at the same time, we're disconnected. We're not connected to anything. We're not connected to our purpose. We're not connected to source. We're not connected to who we are, and we just wonder why we're unfulfilled. And, it doesn't take rocket surgery to figure that out, right? Like, we constantly need connection in our lives. We are beings of connection, and it's important that we are contributing. It's important that we are connected to source. It's important that we are connected to where we come from and what we're creating in our lives. And the more time we spend away from that, right, whether that's in a job or a relationship, or with our routines around eating or our habits that we have, like, the more time we spend away from that, the more difficult it is to find who we are. And the cool part about it is that God or life, nature, spirit always provides opportunity. They'll always give you an opportunity to step back in. And it might seem distant, right? It might feel like, man, that's really far from me right now, and that's really difficult for me right now. And the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So the thing is that you have to remember that your body and your spirit is smarter than your mind, and your heart is smarter than your mind. And if you just learn to trust that, even if you don't know where it goes, right? And that's totally illogical, and that's perfect. That's why it makes sense. It's because it is illogical. If you had to make sense of everything in the world, then you'd have a long time thinking about things and not doing a lot of things. And for most of us, that's what we do, is that we constantly think of, should I do this or should I do that? Or, am I able to, meet my needs and survive if I live this way? And we're constantly in the space of thinking rather than just doing. And what would it be like in your life if you could just trust? If you could just trust who you are, if you could just trust your intuition, and you could just take a step forward in who you are and just really be. I think that everybody has that in them. I think that everybody has that communication that is taking in place in them constantly. And, it happens in the little moments. Find those little moments just to say yes to you, and to go beyond what you're comfortable with, to go beyond what your norm is, and to really step into some greatness. Finding your message or finding your voice and having the courage to live in your passion is about that. Whatever that looks like, without apology, all unapologetically you. Right? Like, whatever that is for you, step into that. What's up, Eddie? What's going on, man? Long time. Good to see you, brother. But yeah, I'm just sitting here. I'm in Bermuda. I'm just inspired in the water here. For me, it's always about, there's these moments where I'm just hanging out and, I'm relaxing or spending some time with me. And it's like, I want to get on post and I want to see who's out there, and I want to talk to some people and kind of share some things. Yeah, that's right, buddy. And, I hope that this message is inspiring for you. I hope this reminds you to step into who you are and not to be scared about it, and it's always that first step that can be the scariest. And, the more that you take those steps and the more that you're willing to step into who that is for you, the easier it becomes. So wishing you a lot of love and safe travels. Make sure you bring your sunblock. It's hot out here. Lots of love, you guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.